They push your physical boundaries even in innocent ways.
I don't know what that means.
Basically, something like if you tell somebody that you're uncomfortable with something and then they keep doing it because they think it's funny or fun, that's just something to be aware of.
Is that all of that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, welcome back.
What's up, y'all?
Welcome to Let's Koup.
So today we're talking about red flags and why they're important and why you should notice them. And
Red flags when you're already dating someone.
right. I mean, red flags that you probably should have noticed the yellow flags, but they turn into red flags when you're dating.
Right. Okay, first one. Negatively affecting your relationship with your family or friends.
What is that? How is that?
Well, if your partner doesn't want you to see your family or friends, if they are talking bad about them, if they start just putting little negative things in your head about people, your family or friends, or the people close to you, that can happen.
Yeah, if somebody doesn't fit well with your family or your circle that you grew up with, obviously it's a part of who you are. So that's obviously a red flag.
And there are, situations where it may make sense, but I think normally if you care deeply about people and your partner does not care about them, then
yeah. So I got one. Can't be honest. Meaning like you can't be yourself around this person. That's the biggest thing for me, and that's why I wanted to say it first, because I think when we meet somebody at first, we want to like make them like us. So we, put on an act, we put on this mask, you let things slide because you love them and you're happy. Well, also, yeah, right, yeah. But I think at first, before that, you try to act like you're, I don't know, like if you're a dude, you probably try to act like you balling and you take it to like some fancy restaurant where you're paying $500 for the meal, but you can't really afford a $500 dinner, but you're trying
every week.
Right, and you're trying to impress her. And then she finds out like, hey, you're kind of living paycheck to paycheck. You probably shouldn't be spending that. If you can't be yourself around somebody, they'll never know who you really are. And then at some point you'll have to reveal that. And then if you reveal it later on, then, so that's a red flag. If you can't be yourself or if they can't be themselves, that's a little harder to tell. I mean, sometimes you can tell, but if you can't be yourself around them, then that's the red flag.
It's important to recognize where compromise is and changing who you are. Because sometimes you do have to compromise a few things that aren't necessarily who you would be when you're just by yourself living single. But there is a difference between compromise and changing who you are. They get angry and break things or become aggressive. This could be more obvious for some people, but I think it's like more yellow flags sometimes that you just be aware of. I think
if somebody starts breaking things down, that's a huge red flag for me.
I mean, yes. But I mean, like I'm saying in the beginning steps of it, you might not see someone get that angry right off the bat or in a dating situation. So just being aware of how people respond to other people when they're angry or different things like that. Because though they might not act that way with you because they feel like, I love you and all that stuff, just being aware of how they react to other people, other bad news, other things like that.
I think that is a red flag. Although people get angry, but you should, I think, take notice of that.
Do I get angry?
I think so. I mean, I think we all get angry. I think the way we show it is different. Constantly on and off. So if you're dating somebody and you're kind of doing that, you're like, it's a gray area. You're in the relationship, you're out of the relationship. I did that a couple times. Just like, if you're not gonna go all the way, then there's something that's just not. There's that feeling of this isn't the right one. Just move on. By the way, don't take that advice. I'm just saying, for me, I just moved on. But go ahead.
After I did my dating fast, I decided, because it was the first. And normally, what I do is I would let things linger for years and years and years. just knowing that I didn't want to be with them, but I was like, maybe, whatever. And so after my dating fast, it just became very apparent. I was like, I need to, if I know that I don't want to be with this person, that's it. Just cut it off and don't linger. And I did that after my dating fast, and then I met you.
But what I meant by that was pretty much like if you're actually dating someone and then, you know, you all take a break and then you're dating, you take a break and then you're dating, you take a break. That's not just call it, you know, at that point. Yeah, it's just sort of, you know, it's not working.
Yeah. And it might be hard because I get some people are really attached to, you know, because they love the person or whatever. So.
Or they just want company, or they just want somebody to be there.
It's not always easy to do, but maybe it might be best. They push your physical boundaries even in innocent ways.
I don't know what that means.
Basically, something like if you tell somebody that you're uncomfortable with something and then they keep doing it because they think it's funny or fun, that's just something to be aware of.
Is that all of that?
Yeah.
Okay, so okay. No shared interests or different friend circles. Yeah, if you like, I know I've done this in the past where I was like, you know, this girl is pretty cool, but you know, she's always going out, always at clubs, always partying, always doing drugs, always doing these things. And I'm like, I like a lot of things about you, but these things, like, we're not gonna mesh. So why do I like this person? If the person, you know, doesn't necessarily share the same interests as you, that's okay. If you're somebody who likes to play video games all the time and games are your whole thing, right? And you like somebody who likes to dress in fancy clothes all the time and buy expensive things, right? You're sort of on an opposite spectrum, but there's certain things that you like about each other that sort of keep you around. But at some point, I kind of feel like those are going to catch up. You're going to be like, yeah, that's not for me. It was just sort of a thing that we tried.
Dependent on you for mental health needs. I think a lot of ways that people connect is through their grief or trauma. Even in friendships, but specifically with relationships, I think that's possible as well. Somebody who doesn't have their own self-worth and self-value, and might get it from the other person.
What does that mean?
Might need it. I think sometimes it's easy to get our confidence and our value from somebody else loving us. And that could be a red flag if you notice that they're maybe negative a lot and down on themselves a lot, and then you have to pick them up constantly. And or somebody really connects with somebody because they're providing a safe space for you to communicate what you've been through, and they really care because they care about you. But then that kind of becomes like your place to go and heal or feel relieved from those things.
Time out. So how do you know that's a red flag? Because here's the thing. If I'm dating someone and I know she's obviously dealing with certain things, I want to support her.
Yeah. I think...
What's the red flag?
Well, I think a good perspective on it is, who else are they talking to? Therapists, anybody else that's supporting them in that process. You're not the only one. And not needing to feel like if you're not around, they're not going to be okay.
Next one, you want different things in life at the moment. If you start dating someone who's just, you know, not ready to settle down, or they're like planning on going to school, or they want to travel the world first, or all these things, just do your thing.
What about long distance?
We're talking about red flags. You mean, is that a red flag?
No, saying like if they want to go do something else in life, do you look into other options?
Yeah, no. So yeah, if you want to go do other stuff in life as well, then that might be for you. You know what I'm saying? Both of you got that going on. Hey, do your thing. I'm saying if, let's just say somebody just wanted to go to Australia to study or something, are you gonna wait for that person? Like, no, it's just, for me.
That's a conversation you guys can have and then be realistic about, okay, this might not work.
Why is it a red flag? It's because they're putting themselves in a place that isn't going to support the relationship. Which is fine. That's where they are in their life. But what I'm saying is I wouldn't cater to that if that's not where I'm going in my own personal life and vision and dream for relationships. So that's why it's a red flag. Last one is that I have is if you have any doubts about this person. And I think that kind of goes into the on or off thing, you know, because you would be on and off if you have doubts, or if you're just sort of like in a different place in your life. I think if you have any kind of doubt,
is that something you should bring up to your partner?
Yeah.
Your doubts?
Well, I mean, you shouldn't have doubts. If this is somebody, this is my only personal thought. If this is someone you want to spend the rest of your life with, or you want to pursue a long-term relationship with, and you have doubts about it, 100% obviously you should talk about what those doubts are. What's an example of a doubt? If somebody lies all the time, right? And you know, I don't know, like I have doubts about him because he lies a lot. And I think this is something that's going to carry on. Then if that's something that doesn't get solved immediately, or you don't see it, then that's a pretty big doubt that could turn into something pretty big. So, you know, I think if you have any sort of doubts about that person, that's a huge red flag for me. And, you know, I love honesty. And so if my person was lying, that's a huge red flag for me. And I don't want to have any doubts about the person that I'm pursuing a long-term relationship with. So I'm going to want to like either figure out if that's something that I can live with or just drop it. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Obviously, there's a lot of red flags that you can find in people that, you know, but this is like specifically someone you're dating and you want to sort of make the decision about if this is something that I want long-term, because these are things that you'll have to deal with or battle through, or know this is part of the relationship moving forward. So yeah, those are red flags. You might have a lot of red flags. If you have some red flags, put it in the comments, share, like, subscribe, you know, tell people to watch, all that good stuff.
Good luck.
Bye.